get up and leave. Are we rolling? Hey, you guys, it's Dave and Caryn
Kilback.
Right? And Caryn is, we've been talking for the last half hour. We should have been recording. We've been talking about our lives and our experiences and our times in Bali and Canggu. You like Canggu?
I like Canggu, I do.
It's funny. I find it, well, I'm in Ubud a lot, and it's a long way. You know, to get on my motorcycle and go down to Canggu, it's like, well, you know, it's an hour and a half on the bike, and an hour and a half on the bike in Bali is intense.
Tell me about it.
It's
yeah,
like, holy
terrifying
shit.
for me. I won't do it.
You're not riding?
No.
Over there? No.
No. No. Maybe a passenger.
You know, well, I've been riding all my life. I have a Harley. I've been riding Harleys
okay.
since I was.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, of course. I've been riding Harleys since most of my life, and but when I went there and everything's on a scooter. First of all, I had a little ego that I don't do scooters. And I had a little scooter ego, and but after a couple of years of going everywhere with my driver, it takes forever in the car.
It does, yeah.
And so my driver picks me up at the airport. We go up to Ubud, and he has a motorcycle lined up for me right away. And
perfect.
And everywhere I go, it's on the bike. But also in the beginning, you can't read the signs are all in Bahasa, right? So unless you know your friggin' way around, you can't get anywhere.
Totally.
So that's probably why you didn't come up to Ubud a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I didn't go to it. I mean, Canggu was where my teacher was situated at the time, near there.
What were you studying there?
Vedic meditation.
Okay.
So it was just easy to have my teacher come to me or me go to him, mostly my teacher coming to me. So that was where I hung out, and it was quiet in the area that I was in. It was Sese Beach, so it was slightly outside of Canggu.
Vedic meditation.
Vedic meditation.
Is that what you teach?
So, yes and no.
You've adapted it some, maybe? Or?
Well, I'm not fully certified in Vedic meditation yet. So I'm in the process of continuing that, and I actually leave for India end of February, early March. As soon as I book my flight. I haven't done that yet, but to complete my last leg of training. So once I come back end of May, then I will be teaching full-blown Vedic meditation, which has its own trajectory and path. So what I teach now is a blend of various techniques that I've studied for multiple years, and part of some principles of Vedic meditation is involved in that, but it's not Vedic meditation.
No, I get it,
Yeah.
Okay. I was telling you that I spent a lot of years with a fellow who had been many years with Osho, and so our meditations were really simple. You know, I mean, with Osho you can be doing ecstatic meditation and dance meditation and all that, but and we did lots of that, but lots of times it was just sit, watch the mind, and not do anything.
Totally.
You know, and not focus on the breath. Anything that would need the mind would, in my imagination, takes us out of the possibility of meditation.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're using the mind for a mantra, or using it for anything. Then we're not in that space where we can drop into nothingness.
It depends, though, how the mantra is being used, because most people, when they use a mantra, they're thinking of japa meditation. So typically it's out loud, or if it is internal, they're using the mantra in the same way as what they would in a mindfulness practice with their attention on the breath. And in that style of meditation, we are in concentration. We're in dharana, we're not in dhyana or actual meditation then. So you're right, we have to at some point
go into decentration.
Like we have to, if we want to, I mean, meditation ultimately is a form of transcendence, right? It's going beyond. But if we want to go beyond, the main principles of Vedic meditation or a Vedantic style of meditation is it's silently in the mind, but it's actually used more like a forgetting device. And it's used just enough to kind of hone our attention and hone the mind, so we can actually reach the possibility of a silent mind, right? I kind of liken it to, my dad is a fisher, so I grew up fishing a ton. And an anchor on the end of it, I don't know what it's called, some sort of weight, right, to actually drop the line down, right? So the mantra, a sinker, there we go, thank you. So it's kind of like that. The mantra is sinking down, 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 but we're supposed to let go of it, and that's the fundamental piece. And if we don't actually let go of it, then we actually can't enter into this possibility of meditation or transcendence. But that's the fundamental piece that's usually missed in any meditation, even a mindfulness practice. At some point, we have to let go of the very thing that we're holding on to. And if we don't, then we don't enter into that place.
Nice.
There absolutely is something, though, to just sitting. Ajashanti calls it true meditation, and it's beautiful.
So when you're saying that, sometimes a word comes. I don't create it, or but often, not often, but often enough, just to thank you. You know, just thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, so beautiful. And it, it's not like I have think I'm going to sit and meditate and drop into gratitude. It just comes. And that's pretty sweet. You know.
Totally.
That's pretty sweet.
Beautiful.
Yeah. When we were with Paul years ago, we used to sit for hours, you know, in a group and sit for hours. And sometimes he would do a guided or a story, you know, and it's nice to be with a master and be in meditation and have, you know, because he knew where he was taking us with the story, and it would be amazing. He'd take us and drop us off somewhere, just like you're saying. We'd be there.
That's the perfect analogy, like to drop off, right? Because that's actually what mantra means. Mantra comes from the root word manos, or mind, and tra is vehicle or tool. And so mantra is actually a mind vehicle. And the purpose of a vehicle is to what? Take you from point A to B, but then you don't actually stay in the car, you actually get out, you get dropped off. And that's like the fundamental piece that gets forgotten, is that when you use this word, you have to actually let yourself get dropped off. Otherwise you're just
leave me here. I'm fine.
You know, you're still in concentration, right? So
you know, it's interesting, and this doesn't come from any teaching or any idea other than, you know, I was talking to you about these stools, right?
Yeah.
Well, I often tell people that they're not meditation stools, that they're transportation vehicles. I do. I say, you get on this, and this is going to skyrocket you into the fifth dimension of reality. And they're like, really? And I say, well, yeah. Everybody who comes in, even no matter what they came for, I get them to sit. And they sit down. They're like, oh wow, this really does. You know, so it is a transportation vehicle.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
And transport the mind and the body. So you're teaching meditation, like you have a class this weekend, or you have? Tell me.
I do. Yeah, I actually have a couple coming up. So this one this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, is through my organization called Instill Meditation, and then Tuesday, I have a 5-week series at Yoga Passage that's coming up. Both of them are a little different. The Instill course is focused a little bit more on a trademark technique that I developed just through my years of practice and experience, and it has a little bit more foundation in Vedic meditation. And then the course coming up on Tuesday at Yoga Passage, that one's called Meditation Essentials. And that one is just going through yogic meditation, mindfulness. We'll briefly look at Vedantic meditation, but it's mostly just different tools and practices to work with the mind.
Who comes?
All sorts of people come.
Really?
Yeah, all sorts of people come. In the yoga studio, I mean, mostly we get students just coming from the community within there. But the one that through my organization, I teach it at a home. I get everyone and anyone who comes to that, like men, women, young, old.
Wow. So, and how do they find you?
Word of mouth mostly right now.
Wow.
I'm not like super up with marketing. That's one of my own things I'm learning to
we'll help you.
to work through.
We'll help you.
Yeah, all sorts of different ways. Like part of it is word of mouth, you know, friends and just getting connected. A little bit like through Instagram and social media, Facebook, but mostly I would say my students are coming through word of mouth, where they've had an experience with me in a yoga class, and they're like, oh, what do you do? Or someone's taken my course and it gets passed along.
Well, I think this is, I really think this is neat that we're connecting, because I see the possibility for, I mean, there's so much traffic through here where people are saying, gee, I don't know how to meditate. And I'll bet we can steer a lot of people to you.
Thank you.
Or maybe we could have a night where you're here on a regular basis.
Sure.
Like, you know, kind of Thursdays.
We'll talk.
Thursdays with Dion.
Well, not Thursdays. No. I teach yoga Thursdays, but we can find another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that just came in this moment, but it's our discussion all the time.
Yeah.
With folks, and a lot of I should be meditating, you know, and I don't know how to meditate, or the one that really gets me is, I've tried it and it doesn't work for me. I'm like, okay.
That's what I'm here for.
It doesn't work. What were you thinking? And the truth is that they weren't thinking anything. They weren't imagining it. They didn't have any idea what it would look like if it worked for them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Totally.
It was like, well, I don't know, but it seemed like my mind just kept going. And that's what they say all the time. And I don't have, I mean, I might take 5 minutes with them, but I don't have the time to bust through all of that.
Yeah, totally.
And you know, and
I have to break a lot of myths in my course all the time, because we have a lot of thoughts about what we think meditation should be or should look like, than what it actually is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ultimately, meditation is just teaching us how to sit with what is.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it's doing.
Be here now.
Totally, that's what it's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you help people with benefits? Like, you know, there's a kind of a list of benefits.
Totally, the selling feature.
Yeah, the list of benefits. I mean, why should I meditate?
Yeah, totally.
So what do you tell them?
All sorts of reasons. Usually, you know, like decreased insomnia, decreased
sleep better.
Yeah, totally. Decreased anxiety, better sex. That's always a great selling feature.
You have to find a partner.
Right, if you have a partner, totally. Because I mean, when you look at what sex is, I mean, the way that our organs function is it's all rooted in stress. And so if we've got high levels of stress, well then we can't expect
it's hard to be present
down there to even be working properly, because we've got a whole other intoxicating slew of hormones and chemicals that are taking
And remember, down there's just the beginning.
Right. But it's always a good selling feature. Everyone wants better sex. So increased fertility. There's been some really great research that's coming out on that. Clarity, consciousness, all of that good stuff that we start to get into.
Better relationships.
Totally. Better relationships with self, which ultimately translates to a better relationship with other. What else? I mean, there's so many.
Do you have children?
Stress reduction.
Not you, but do you have children come for meditation ever?
Not for me, which I don't think is a surprise. I like children, but children aren't my gift to work with.
So. This Saturday, we have Tina. What's Tina's last name? Tina Parsons, who's a psychologist, coming to do a class on Saturday morning for kids.
Beautiful.
On mindfulness.
Beautiful.
Like, that's her gig. She's written a book. I'll show you a copy of it.
Great.
What's it called?
Darwin Dragonfly.
Darwin Dragonfly. And it's a illustrated kids book around mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah.
And she's amazing. It would be so great if you came and just experienced her.
When is she here on?
This Saturday morning.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Depends what time. I teach at noon, but if it's before noon, then I can come.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah, it's going to be
done.
Yeah,
Done.
It'll be fun. We're hoping we have an event, and we're hoping lots of people come. I think teaching children to meditate.
Totally. That's where it all begins, right?
We have lots of also who comes here sometimes. Often is teachers, like elementary school and junior high teachers, because they all want to buy singing bowls to calm the class, and they're of course they can't call it meditation, they call it mindfulness in schools, but if you can get a class of kids to sit, you know, and you know, begin that process in their life. How old were you when you first started to meditate?
Well,
man, just like
formally
yes.
when I was 19.
Yes.
But informally, not that I really knew that it was meditation. I was probably like, gosh, young, like 12, maybe even younger than that.
Oh.
I used to go down to this park that was below my house, and the Joseph's Creek River ran through it, and I would sit on this rock. There'd be all of these trees around me, and I'd sit there with my journal, and then I would just sit and listen, and then I'd write some more. And I mean, that was definitely a form of meditation, but I had no idea at the time, of course, that what that was, right? Not until later. So, yeah.
So, I'm imagining that we're similar in this. And when I was, in that age, my big question was, what the fuck am I doing here? What is this? Why am I here?
Yeah,
and
totally.
Not just why am I here? Am I supposed to do something on the planet? But really. What is this about? And so totally. Also, I was sure I got deposited in the wrong family. You maybe never had any of those thoughts, but I oh
no, I had those thoughts. I think most people have those thoughts.
It's like, well, who are these people? They tell me we're related.
Yeah, right.
and so my seeking, if you will, started really, really early, and thank God I discovered drugs and alcohol. I probably wouldn't have made it through my teen years.
Yeah.
And I had to let that all go.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I have a similar story. So
yeah. And actually, I've been in recovery for many years, and 12-step recovery. I'm still very active.
Yeah.
In that, like,
great.
38 years since I had my last.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, it really isn't. It's a day at a time, and it's I give it up to the process and the higher power and all of that. But it's been a great gift, and what's been exciting for me is that I've gone, to India, and I've been with all these teachers, and so I just haven't limited myself to one kind of belief system or one style or one, sounds like you've done the same.
Yeah, totally. I mean, a lot of it was just the progression of my own journey and what was available at the time. Yeah. So, yoga and meditation is a yes. Do you know what I mean? In following each thread, in with your yes. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Takes you to.
For me, I kind of went in reverse, though. I started with meditation.
Yes.
And then I went yoga.
Yes.
And meditation sort of went to the back burner for a bit, and then I went back to meditation. And so, just like footprints, they walk right alongside each other with me. But I mean, I would say I'm more in the meditation branch now. So
yeah. So I think that my vision is to have a meditation space in every home and every place of work. I know that sounds huge, but I think it's happening. I think that people are interested. I think that traditional religions aren't filling the bill for a lot of people, and it doesn't mean that they can't stay with their traditional religion. But meditation can give them a much bigger space to play in.
Totally. Totally. Well, meditation isn't religious.
No.
Right. It's a tool. Right.
Yeah. It totally. Yeah. But it is, I think, a tool for spiritual seekers as well.
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah, and not just for better sex.
It's one of those things where so many. I mean, I've watched this transition now over the years since I've been teaching, where everyone who starts on this path, it initially starts off typically with like, I just want to sleep better, or I want less anxiety, or I want to be more present with my kids, or whatever. If those people are in those camp as opposed to the spiritual seeking camp, at some point they always come to me and they go, so there's more to this than what I thought. Tell me more. And so then we sit there like this, and then we really start to get into what this is actually all about. We're all really on a spiritual path, right? I mean, it doesn't matter where we start. We're all on a spiritual path.
Yeah, I tell my sponsees we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Totally.
We've gotten disconnected. I'm going to plug you back in. I'm here with the cable.
Yeah.
and that's, I think, that's partially, that is the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a thought, I forgot it's gone. So anyway, I think that's what's happening, that meditation's growing, and we're all, on a spiritual journey and recognizing it, and that no matter what we collect, the stuff that we have around us doesn't seem to fill that space.
Totally.
And we want to be happy, joyous, and free.
Absolutely.
We have to plug back in.
Absolutely.
Meditation's the key. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I tell people that meditation is the super drug.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to use that one.
It's a super drug.
Yeah.
It really is.
Totally.
And not that antidepressants aren't great. It's just that you might not need them.
Totally. Well, I mean, we're so lucky right now because science is starting to prove a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, on a chemical level, it really is the happiness drug.
Yes.
I mean, it increases serotonin and dopamine, which are, I call them our bliss chemicals, but that's really what they are. They're our happy chemicals.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think if the medical profession really, cares about health and wellness, they could prescribe meditation as opposed to antidepressants.
Totally.
Just saying.
I think we've got a long way to go for that, possibly. That's another conversation. I don't know if I want to tackle that right now.
We have to get past the pharmaceuticals on that one. But,
which is a business, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you just have to look at, that's what it is it's a business.
Yeah. So don't imagine anything we say is medical advice. It's not medical advice. We don't know shit. But we do have some personal experience.
Yes,
yeah.
It's so true.
and that's, we're just coming from there. So WUB, we almost didn't talk about WUB.
Yeah, WUB.
WUB.
I
WUB
you.
Already. I WUB you.
We were in sync there. Yeah. Yeah.
So
WUB.
tell us about WUB.
Tell us about WUB. What do you want to know?
Well, how did you get involved?
Yeah.
That's another story.
Well, it's a great story, actually. So I got connected with Paul. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name. Paul with a P.
Oh.
He's watching right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Hey, Paul, we love you. We WUB you.
No idea how to say your last name yet. P.S.
WUB you.
Paul with a P.
So you've never dated him then?
No. No.
You have his last name for sure.
Yeah, don't know his last name.
Okay.
We got connected with a dear friend of mine who's a mutual friend of ours, which is William Cunningham. And
Billy. Just kidding.
Billy.
I know.
He might kill you if you call him Billy, or at least not be happy with you.
Okay.
So William is a dear friend of mine. Like, we go way back to, 12 years old.
Yeah.
He's a very, very gifted pianist who's self-taught. And so he has a company called Meetings That Matter, and I don't totally know exactly what he does, but he helps with building conferences and connecting people and organizing events and things like that. He's kind of a unicorn in his own right in the different things that he does. So Paul and him got connected to work together on WUB, and William was like, "Oh, I know one of the perfect people for you. You got to meet her." So William connected us, and Paul and I sat down. We had coffee, and the next thing you know, I'm being an advisor for WUB. So
nice.
So I'm involved in WUB a little bit in that realm. And then I offer piano meditations with William. William plays the piano. I lead.
Do you play the piano?
No, I wish I did, but I don't.
I have one here.
Yeah, don't ask me to play. I can hit single notes.
Okay.
That's to my extent.
So I won't ask you to play the piano.
No, don't ask me to play the piano. You might be doing this. But William is very gifted.
So you then the idea, I see WUB. WUB is a vehicle for expanded consciousness.
Totally.
And to help people through community, having fun, to normalize the whole idea of self-realization, self-examination, lifelong learning.
Totally.
And I didn't read that off a piece of paper. That's what I see.
That's how I absolutely. See it. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's why I'm a big supporter. I think there's not enough in our community, and of that going on. So often that kind of stuff is a one-shot deal, and or it's just smaller group of people that are involved in it. And anyway, I like this. It's open to everybody. And,
yeah, absolutely.
I think that the Calgary event is going to sell out.
I hope it does.
I think it will.
I hope it does.
I had some friends come in the other day, a couple of ladies, and they were lovely, and they said, "Oh, we got our tickets. We're going to WUB.
Great.
We found it. We saw it on your site, and so we've been promoting the heck out of it. And,
yeah, good.
And Edmonton too.
Good.
I don't know how the sales are going. Paul, how are the sales going? he can leave us a message, but I bet it's happening. You know.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him about it?
Not about sales yet, but we've talked about it because I'll be at both the Edmonton and the Calgary one.
Yeah.
The Calgary is kind of like a quick in and out because I'm actually teaching a workshop that night, but the Edmonton one I'll actually be there the full day, and I'll be also assisting Trevor Yellick with his breath work in the afternoon with therapy.
Have you done assist before with Trevor?
A little bit, yes. Yeah.
I love the breath work.
Yeah, it's beautiful work, isn't it?
Yeah. I did it my first time. I did. Alexander Groff was the guy that kind of started breath work in the 80s or 90s, and I did breath work in the 90s.
Wow.
And we called it rebirthing. And
it's kind of like rebirthing. That's what
and I remember the first time I got the claw. You know, it was like, from. When you're breathing and
and everything tightens up. Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. Anyway, but it was I really enjoyed that then, and I've done it a number of times since, and with Trevor too. Trevor's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's so present.
So present.
Yeah, he holds the space, and and he came in yesterday, and to talk and to do this and we went in my office, and I had 2 phones when he walked in. I was on 2 phones. and
I'm visualizing this in my mind right now.
I had 2 phones going, and Michelle, who was at the counter, was, talking. It was all this going on. And we were in the office, and Trevor sat down, and he went, and I thought, okay, and we just locked eyes for like he did Trevor.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And everything else disappeared, and he has such a way of bringing you into the space.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's
the power of presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was great. He didn't ask. He didn't say, "Do you mind if we?" He just did it.
Yeah.
And the whole world came into that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Anyway, Trevor has that.
Yes, he has that gift.
So, well, I don't know if we're all going to do WUB.
We're all going to do WUB.
And that's, going to be amazing. And it may be when you do your weekend, we'll talk a bit about my stools. And hi. We're in the middle of an interview, but just come on in. I mean, sit over here. But, yeah. Have you guys ever met?
No. Hey.
Hi, I'm Kat.
Kat, hey, I'm Caryn.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Can I witness?
Of course.
Yeah, sure. Just
come on in and hang out.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward I'd like to sit with you.
I would love to have you sit with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to come and sit and just I love meditating. It's a super drug.
I'm totally going to steal that from you, P.S.
Yeah.
I'll quote you.
Oh,
but I'm going to steal
maybe
it
a
from
time
you.
or two. It is so. It's like, and what part of my vision is a couple of things to promote meditation and help people. The whole idea of setting up spaces is so that people will do meditation, but also lifelong learning. I think that there's so much information around for all of us. It's endless. If people want, to become more conscious, or they want to, to look at what's going on in their psyche, they don't need to go to a therapist. I mean, it's all available. It's on YouTube. There's so many teachers and so much available, and so I like to help curate that a bit for people. With some of the great books and that are available, and get everybody on the Bhagavad Gita. So lifelong learning, meditation, and with people in their 50s and 60s, I hope to inspire many of them to get in the game. The world's moving so fast.
Yeah.
I was really fortunate that I started to tune into, say, online marketing 10 years ago. and so I've been with it as it's changed and shifted. But lots of people in, say, their 50s and 60s right now, if they're plugging in right now, it's like, holy shit, you know, the world is moving away from them.
Yeah.
So my encouragement is to help those folks to get back in the game, because they have lots of wisdom and lots of experience to bring.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's part of my vision, and but for everybody too.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this space in the back as the furniture leaves, and as we bless people with, you know, all of those beautiful pieces.
Beautiful.
We're going to turn that into an event space.
Great.
And you're going to come and do meditation classes.
Sure.
And
we'll charge it up.
Yes.
We'll
for
charge
sure.
it up.
Yeah, we'll sage it up and charge it up and jazz it up, because we're going to dance too.
Totally.
And so at least half of it's going to be like for ecstatic dancing and events and meditations and we have a meditation here. Did I tell you? On Monday nights?
No, you didn't tell me that.
Okay. We do Monday nights at 6:30.
Okay.
We do, this Monday we had a nice little group. It was really sweet. And so even when we had like 10 or 12 people in here, or even 8 people, it's what an amazing energy. And mostly it's been steered towards new people, you know, and to help them a bit to, you know, I talk about the mind as a tool, and, you know, its job's to look after us. It's okay. And, you know, and how to talk to it and calm it down, and, you know, be its friend. And, you know, because it's not against us. And the mind often is programmed to think that there's danger. So we talk about that. And then we sit for 20 minutes and just, you know, sometimes I do a little guided, like 2 or 3 minutes, and to drop them off. And it's it's sweet. But I have a vision. As we create meditation spaces all over North America and the world, that we have what I call Meditation Mondays. And so that folks can set up and have meditations in their homes, and that will help facilitate the people in their area.
Great.
It's kind of a big vision.
And well, there's actually an organization called Unify that they might be a good inspiration for you, possibly. But anyway, they do something kind of like that. They it's not a weekly thing, but every once in a while they'll organize at certain times of the year, like Peace Day, what is that, September 21st. They'll organize like a global meditation at the same time all over the world, and you can organize your own events in certain cities. And
I remember that. You know, sort of like Deepak's got his, he wants to have a billion. Deepak's billions.
Deepak's billions.
Billion meditators, you know. And
it's a good vision.
It is a good vision.
It's a great vision.
Yes. Okay. That's super. I'm so glad you came, and you know, to get to know you today.
Yeah, such a pleasure.
Thank you, and I'll see you. Well, I'll see you before, but I was thinking, whoop. Oh, do you have links? We want to put some links of your stuff with this and events and.
Sure. Yep. There's my meditation link is instillmeditation.ca, and then I have my personal website, which is just my name, Caryn, Caryn, and Kilback, KILBACK.com. So both of those.
Yeah, we'll put them on this.
Yeah.
And awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody,
for
joining us. Paul, we love you.
Thank you.
Okay.